Welcome to the third episode of the Gianni J. AY podcast. I'm so happy to be here with my best friend and freshman year roommate, Joe Rotondo. Let's welcome Joe to the show.
What's up, guys? Nice to be here. Gianni, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I'm so excited to have you on the show. How have you been, buddy? I haven't seen you this whole quarantine. How you feeling?
I'm doing well. Hanging in here in Brooklyn. We're practically neighbors, but unfortunately, when I moved in, we saw each other once, and then quarantine happened, and then we didn't really get to see each other again. But I'm doing well over here in Brooklyn, and thankfully I'm healthy, and I'm just keeping busy and just doing my thing.
Awesome. So I really wanted to introduce Joe to the show simply because he's a great entrepreneur, a leader in the recycled denim industry, something that I don't think a lot of people know about. And so I'm really excited to kind of open a floor for people to kind of share your passion or kind of share your enthusiasm around eco-friendly fashion. But first, before I even get started, can you give me a title and a background about your company?
Sure. So I'm the founder and creative director of Rocky Clark Clothing, which I founded in 2015 while I was in college, actually. And I founded Rocky Clark on the premise of three principles, and that is sustainable clothing, producing that clothing in the United States, and donating a portion to charity. For me to really start my own clothing brand, I thought it was integral to, not only produce clothing, but to do good and to give back, not only to the community, but also to the earth. And I thought if I wasn't going to start a clothing brand unless I did those three things. And here we are now. Here we are today.
That's awesome. And you specifically talked about college, and that's where I really want to hit the bonus of this, because that's where we met our freshman year, room 333 Butterfield for life.
Yep.
I really want you to talk about the journey, because from my memory, you started off as a swimmer and majoring in the kinesiology program. And then by the end, you were a fashion major and modeling clothes in Italy. So can you give us a little background behind that?
Sure. Yeah. You know what? But to even take it back a step, I remember showing up to my room and seeing 333. Like, those are my numbers. Like, you know how like you have like those universal numbers that you just see like on license plates or on a street sign on an apartment building. You see these numbers. Threes and sixes were always my numbers. So as soon as I saw that I was living in room 333, I was like, all right, this is where I'm supposed to be. And like from the start, it just felt good. Everything felt in place.
Mine's
what I mean?
10:06. I always see 10:06 everywhere, which is my birthday, and that's like my sign. I'm like, oh, I'm in the right place. Also 4:14, because that's when I was born, and my mom always likes to talk about, oh, Gianni, like 4:14 everywhere. So that's crazy.
Right. Yeah, it's once you see those numbers, you know that you're in the right place at the right time. So off the bat, I was like, all right, this is it. And then as soon as I met you, we just gelled and we just hit it right off the bat. And I just felt good about college, because I know for some people it's scary, and it was scary for me, but I just knew I was at the right place at the right time in my life. And so I go to college. I go to University of Rhode Island. And the reason I chose URI was because it was close to the beach and it had exercise science. And in high school, I just loved sports. I loved being active. And I just thought like, hey, like I love sports and I could study sports in college. Let's do it. So I was game for it. Throughout my years at college, you find yourself, you find what you're truly passionate about. And then one day I always had an interest in fashion and clothing. And one day I was like, I think it'd be cool to design like sports uniforms, sports jerseys for like football or basketball or baseball. So, I spoke to some people, spoke to the right people, and they guided me to TMD. And, talk about 333 being in the right place at the right time. URI just so happened to also have textiles, merchandising, and design. They had that program, and they had exercise science. So luckily, it was an easy transfer, and I just got into it. At the end of my sophomore year, I made the decision to transfer colleges, and the rest is history.
And my question is, not only did you do that, which is fantastic, but how did you take the leap of faith to be like, I'm going to go to Italy and I'm going to
Yeah.
go straight in and try to figure out how fashion works there, which is one of the main meccas of fashion in general?
Sure, and that's really the big reason why I chose to go to Italy because I was just eager to learn. I was eager to learn about tailoring and just fine clothing, high quality clothing, and where else to learn how to make a suit than in Italy. And before all that, I'm Italian, so I knew I had to get to Italy somehow. So I took the opportunity that was presented to me and I got back to the homeland. One of the professors brought it to my attention, like, hey, like you should do this. They had a speaker come in from the school, from the Italian school, and I went to it wasn't really orientation. It was a brief about what studying abroad was, and I was like, I'm in. Like, let's do this. I applied, got in, and went to Accademia Italiana my junior year. It was the best opportunity.
We've been the
Right.
Italian brothers since the beginning, right? GJ,
Right.
Joe Rowe, like from the
Yep.
get-go. And the other thing that I really love to hit on is that since our freshman year, we always said like we were going to buy a penthouse in New York City. And the fact that now I'm starting a podcast and you're like starting your business for a while now, but the fact that we both ended up the block from each other, where you live in Bed-Stuy and I live in Bushwick, just is like a testament to that promise made
Right.
7 years ago.
Yeah, just like the fact that we both had vision, like we're both coming from New York, going to Rhode Island. It was a foreign state to us. It was new. It was a new beginning. It was a new chapter of life. And like our hustle, our vision, our motivation, and just this hunger deep in this burning passion inside of us just like keeps us, pushing for more. And that's special. That's cool.
And that's exactly what I really want to hone in on this podcast. The basis of this podcast, again, is to create community and be an inspiration and motivation for people that are kind of in a rut sometimes, and looking at people that are still doing the work and doing whatever it takes to make it turn out, rather than kind of given the circumstances, I'm not going to make it work out. But that actually transitions to our next question, which is, how did the company start and who is Rocky Clark? I know who Rocky Clark is, but explain a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I can't really pinpoint the exact moment where it was like, all right, I'm going to do this. You know what I mean? It was just a culmination of a couple of different things. I think that the first inception of the idea happened in Italy when I was just like sitting in my room, drinking a glass of wine, having some cheese, just looking out my window, listening to, an accordion player in the square down the street from me. And I don't know if it just ideas come out of thin air. And this one may have just come out of thin air. And, I was like, what? I want to do clothing. And I took my middle name, which is Rocco, and my dog's name, which is Clark. And I was like, wow, that sort of has a ring to it, Rocky Clark. It's like, it's a strong name. It really stands out, really sticks with you. And that stuck with me, that name. And it was super personal. Rocco is a family name. My grandfather's name is Rocco, and he was in World War II. And my uncle's nickname was Rocco, and he flew in the Navy. So that name had a lot of significance to me. And then my dog Clark, he was my right-hand man, and he was my partner in crime. And part of the clothing brand was to give back. And the first charity we donated to was an animal welfare charity. And that was just influenced by Clark, because he was a stray dog the first year of his life, and we rescued him. So that was the inception of the name.
I think it does stick. And I love the fact that you put this little dog on everything, and I still wear your dog tag.
Right, yeah.
Me, I'm always wearing it no matter what, and it's like a forever thing.
This is the original one. This is Clark's dog tag that unfortunately Clark passed away, but I wear it every single day. I don't take it off, and it inspired those dog tags that we hand out.
And I love the dog tags. They come with every purchase that you get from the Rocky Clark clothing. So I suggest, if you do decide to buy this, we're going to go into how you can get more information and how you can shop on the online store. But I kind of want to still have a little bit more background here, right? So my thing is, like, out of all fabrics, why recycled denim? right? Like, and how do you recycle denim? Like, I don't really know. Do I give up my jeans to you? Do like any old jeans? Like, how do you recycle that? And like, why specifically that fabric?
Sure. So we use a couple different fabrics. It started out as a lot of hemp denim. It's inherently sustainable. It doesn't use a lot of water. It doesn't use a lot of pesticides that cotton does. And most importantly, it's not derivative of oil, which a lot of clothing is made from polyester and nylon and whatnot. So we used a lot of hemp, and then unfortunately, hemp isn't the most accessible fabric, so we sort of transitioned to 100% organic cotton, and that's what we used for our latest jean is 100% organic cotton denim from Italy. So just full circle right there. And the denim we're using is not only organic cotton, but it uses a special dyeing technique that uses food waste to cut down on water and energy usage during the dyeing process, which is in itself the dirtiest process in the production of denim fabric. So we try to use the most sustainable fabric that we could. We also use other fabrics that incorporate recycled materials like recycled polyester that's made from plastic bottles, recycled cotton, which is made from clothing scraps. You know, when you're done with a piece of clothing and you decide to donate it, a lot of that doesn't get donated to, a secondhand store. Some of it goes to a warehouse where the clothing gets recycled into scraps. We try our best to use recycled materials that can be upcycled into new fabric and or organic fabrics like organic cotton and hemp.
And besides your own company, what other companies do you really do this? Because I don't really hear of a lot of companies coming out with recycled clothing. I hear them just like new line, new fall, new spring, new everything. And I'm assuming they're not using the most recycled or efficient kind of products, rather they're just trying to manufacture as fast as possible. And like you're saying, it's kind of like a dirty process. So what specific
Sure.
companies are in there?
Yeah, so one of the reasons why I started Rocky Clark was when in college I was looking for internships, I was looking for jobs, and I wanted to find a company that produced their clothing in the United States sustainably, and I couldn't find that. So I was like, wow, this is crazy. There's no such thing as this. So that's what really pushed me and lighted the fire for me to start Rocky Clark. But I'm heavily inspired by brands like Patagonia. Patagonia uses a ton of recycled polyester and a ton of organic cotton and hemp. Outer Known is a brand similar to Patagonia. It's owned by the surfer Kelly Slater, and he uses a ton of sustainable fabrics. But these companies are so few and far between, and that just really blows my mind that we talk about sustainability as a society, but it's not really being practiced.
Not at all. Not at all. And it constantly, like, even with your ingenious ability to come up with this idea of a recyclable mask during the COVID-19 crisis. Like, I know that a lot of people probably aren't buying clothes right now. They're kind of short on money, but you decided to kind of uptake this new approach where you actually just started making masks with this recycled denim. So can you talk about what inspired you to do that and, how it's kind of helped the society at large?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. Once this whole COVID pandemic occurred, deep down, I knew, I had to help. At first, I wasn't sure how I could help. I decided I need to use my skills to help out. And what's that? Like, I know how to sew. I'm pretty handy. Let's make face masks. And after the production of our jeans, we had a whole bunch of denim scraps laying around. And instead of throwing them out, what I was typically doing was boxing them up and sending them to this factory in North Carolina who turns the denim scraps into house insulation, the insulation in between your walls. But after some thought, I was like, you know what? I could use these denim scraps to make face masks. So that's what I did. And, we helped a ton of people. We donated some money to charity to help the frontline workers in New York City. It really took off, and we were just really happy and humbled to help people not only protect themselves, but to protect others and to really honor the first responders that, were really hit pretty hard in New York and all over the country and all over the world.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I see all of our friends from URI now, rocking the Rocky Clark face mask for everybody, which I think is fantastic. I have my own. Unfortunately, it's in my dad's car right now, but I would have it on if I
It's not
wanted.
very helpful.
If I were, obviously, if I was going to the store or anything, that's why it's
You're
in the
social
car.
distancing right now, so it's safe.
Exactly. Like I'm at my house. I don't need it on right now.
It was cool that everybody rallied around this concept of like, we got to wear face masks. And people really rallied around us making them. We got great feedback. It was just special to be a part of, really.
And it's so true, right? Because the ecosystem is going to suffer so much after this pandemic because of all these one-use masks that are literally just thrown away. You see pictures of oceans with them just floating on the top, and we're able to kind of save some of these people these one-time masks so that there's going to be a reduction in the ecosystem detriment. As you know, a lot of small businesses are taking a hit right now. And I know that you are a small business that's trying to become up and coming. So what hardships are you facing right now? Did you get bailed out from the government with that Trump bill? Like, did you, and how did you push yourself to continue to be an entrepreneur during this time? Because it's, how do you keep that motivation?
Sure. Yeah. Right now it's dark times for a lot of us. Deep down, I know in my heart, what I'm doing is what I think the right thing. And I'm just trying to do good at the end of the day. And nothing's going to stop me. Nothing's going to get in my way of, pursuing my dream and fulfilling my passion. And that's Rocky Clark. So, during a pandemic, what do people need? Like masks. So we reacted. And that's something entrepreneurs do. You pivot or you pursue. We just made jeans. Who's going to be wearing jeans right now? I don't wear jeans when I'm just sitting on my couch. You know what I mean? People aren't going to be spending their money on jeans. So we pivoted to face masks and we used the recycled scraps from our jeans to do so. And just things like that, just reacting to what people need and what people want is a great way to persevere during a time like this.
And I love that ingenuity. Like I said, it takes a creative mind to come up with the concept. And I think it takes a real entrepreneur to do what you say and pivot. And so that's exactly what you need in a successful business.
We felt uncomfortable. Like I was torn, like, do I make masks? Do I not? Like, I don't want to capitalize on this awful thing that's occurring. At the end of the day, people need them. We priced them. We didn't take any profit on the mask. We donated to charity and we just covered our costs. That's what made us feel good about doing something. We didn't exploit anything. We just sort of tried our best to help others.
I really think that that's going to say a lot. And I think that this is one of the reasons you should definitely shop at Rocky Clark. I just ordered my first pair of jeans. Joe's given me a whole bag. He's given me the mask, obviously, and I'm continuing to buy from him on a consistent basis. Are you ready though, Joe? I have one last question for you, and it's my mystery question. Do you think you're ready?
Oh, I'm ready. Hit me.
Awesome. So in one sentence, what advice would you offer to somebody that is trying to make their way in the fashion industry?
Specifically in the fashion industry?
Fashion or recycle, whatever you interpret that as.
Don't give up and keep doing the right thing. Plain and simple.
Thank you so much, Joe, for your time today. I really appreciate the interview. I think this is going to be a big hit, and I think it's going to open a lot of people's eyes to see what is capable if we put our heads together and make strides to make sure that we're doing the best we can.
Gianni, thank you for having me. And you know what? Thank you for pursuing this dream of yours. I think that's very fulfilling for you, but also it will teach others that they just got to go for it. And that's at the end of the day, that's all it's about.
Just like you said, don't give up and keep doing right.
Yep.
All right. That's the episode, the Gianni J. A.Y. podcast, episode 3. Catch us back next week to see what we have in store next. See you later, Joe.
Peace.